Kill her, Mommy. Kill her. Hey, jerk. Speed kill.
What's going on, everybody? Joe, man, that's awesome. I'll tell you, I was freaking out just from the intro, and we haven't even gotten started. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the showgram. It is Thursday, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Beer Talk with Kyle and Joe, Beard's Life, everything in between. Today, we got a great show for you guys. Today, we're going to be focusing on the in-between.
Yes.
I'm really excited about it, man. Joe,
definitely the in-between. If you guys are into podcasts, movies, horror movies, content creation, all that kind of stuff, you guys are definitely in for a treat. We have two very special guests that we're going to be bringing on here shortly. As you guys saw from the thumbnails and everything, we have Brian and Andy from the Dead in Santa Carla podcast, one of my favorite podcasts I listen to on a weekly basis. They drop new episodes every Monday, and you can find them on all sorts of media platforms. We do have their link in the description, so please make sure you guys go check it out. But hey, what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and bring them on. We'll say hello to everybody, and we'll get started for some good conversations.
Let's do it. Brian and Andy. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having us.
You get the complimentary. You get the complimentary Beer Talk golf clap, Joe.
Yeah,
beautiful. Love it.
Kick-ass intro, by the way. Joe, did you make that? That was awesome.
Yeah. So I've been so that's not our normal one, but I had to make something special for you guys. And yeah, man, it had to be horror related.
Yeah, I like that. It was really cool.
I heard a lot of cool horror scores, horror music in there.
Yes.
What's going on, chat? What's going on, chat? Happy to be here.
Yeah. So again, everybody, this is Andy and Brian from the Santa Carla podcast. As always, you guys, please, if you have any questions, comments, or anything that you want shown up, please drop them in the chat. We will make sure to cover them all. But let's get started. Let's see who we have in here. Say hello to everybody. And you guys know the routine. What do you guys have in Beard? What products? Who are you wearing right now? We want to hear it. So we have Rob, Haldemir, Joshua, Gentleman Prime. What's up, Walt? Bearded Billy. We got John, just plain bearded. Vado, what's going on? He says, hit that like button like it owes you money. If Vado says so, you know to do it. Matt asks, Mike Zarati, what is going on? We got Ron, or Aaron, I should say. Russ, Disney, everybody, Charlie, all you guys in here piling in quick. Really appreciate it. We got 21 people in here going strong. And if you guys can do us a favor, let everybody know that we are currently live. Post something on Instagram. You know that would help us greatly. Let's pack the house tonight if we can. So, to our guests, you guys, Brian, Andy, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Doing good, man. We've been trying to set this up for a while, but busy schedules, trying to get four dudes together at the same time at the same night. It's not you'd think it'd be an easy task, but it ain't.
Right. Oh, it's a hard knock life, man. Yeah, because I think we've been talking with you for almost 3 months, it seems.
Yeah.
God damn, we're gonna make this happen or what?
Yeah. So I was telling Brian while we were backstage that I approached you guys as like a total fanboy, and I was like, I listen to these guys every week. Every time they drop an episode, I'm always checking it out. If I've never seen the movie that you guys are covering, I'll make sure to find a way to watch it so I can make sure I don't miss an episode, which is cool because it always introduces me to new movies, whether good or bad and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot and let's see if they have the time to come on here. And I'm so excited. So.
Yeah. Well,
Same
we're
here, man.
really glad you did, man. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Appreciate
appreciate the
guys.
kind words too, man, and the listener support and shit. And at the end of every episode, as you know, Joe, I shout out the homework for next week for the movie, and I'm always wondering, is anyone even listening to that and even bother watching? But I am proving that yes.
Yep.
If it's just you, Joe, that works. That's good enough for me, man.
It, really.
Which is weird because I've never been known for doing my homework, but yeah,
for your favorite podcast,
so it works out perfectly. So
yeah, so Andy, Brian, so Joe is a diehard fan. He got me turned on to you guys. I'll be honest, I'm only 2 episodes in because I wanted to start a little behind. I'm working my way up. I just listened to, it wasn't that long ago, but I Know What You Did Last Summer episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that was a fun talk.
I really enjoyed that. So
it was with
first of all, I'm going to ask
yeah.
you guys to kind of introduce yourself for the people who don't know what you guys are about, and then I want to kind of hit you guys with some questions because being a new listener and especially being a content creator myself with Joe, I got a lot of questions. Just to see your guys' style. But please go ahead and introduce yourselves. Talk about your podcast a little bit.
Do you want me to take this? You want
go for it, Brian. I'll go after you, bud.
Basically, it's just 2 guys that get together every Monday and talk about a horror movie, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what I really wanted. I just wanted our podcast to feel like you're getting together with your buddies and you're just shooting the shit about horror movies or whatever. And so that's kind of the feel that we were going for when we started with the podcast. And basically that's it, man. Just me and Andy bullshitting about horror movies and what we love about them, what we hate about them. That's it, man. It's really simple. Awesome. It's really simple, fun format.
It's great too because it's so funny because Brian and we've actually never met in person.
Yeah.
We just dropped it. We've never met in person. We just dropped episode 136 this week. Geez, 36. Let's not sell ourselves short. 136. And we actually met playing Friday the 13th, the game. Yep. That's how Brian and I met. I stream. I have like over 3,000 hours streamed on Twitch, and I played the shit out of Friday the 13th, the game. And that's how we met. So not probably about a year after we knew each other, he hit me up about if I ever wanted to do a horror podcast. And I was totally on board with it because movies have always been enshrined with me. They've always been a huge part of my life. Going back to when I was 4 years old, my father, and as I'm from Northeast Ohio originally, about an hour outside of Cleveland.
No, nice.
My dad opened up a video store in 1985 when I was 4. And that's how it was. That's how it was born. I mean, that's where the passion and the love for movies and especially horror, which was my first favorite genre, started. And then I moved to LA when I was 20. I studied acting for 5-6 years, was in some really, really low budget, not even
fucking masterpieces, baby.
C horror films.
That's the way it is.
If they had Andy in it, it was a fucking masterpiece. I'm gonna tell you right now.
So, being raised in the video store, going to film acting school and studying the craft for almost 6 years, and it's just always been a huge part of my life, one way or the other. So I've always wanted the opportunity to kind of talk about that passion and get it out there, especially horror, and bam, Brian came a calling and I came a coming.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So
it was funny. The first time we ever played F-13 together, we were at a point in the game where we'd pretty much done everything, and our first game we spent as Chads and Speedos, on a fucking island in one of the map. Which island? Which one is the one
on Higgins? Higgins.
And we were on that island, and we were dancing to what's that Right Said Fred song?
Oh, you're too sexy.
I'm too sexy. Yeah. So we were all the Chads. Everybody was Chad.
Yeah.
We were all in Speedos on the island dancing, and I had
that was a fun
night. Too sexy blasting through my mic. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, we were playing with that girl I was dating who was a stripper. That was a good time.
yeah, we were. Yeah, we were.
Wow. So
I didn't know she was a stripper then. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Strip that. Make that money.
Right.
Honey. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, we're 12 minutes in. I'm already fascinated. I cannot believe you guys met through a video game. You read about that, but you
haven't even had a chance to give this goofy bastard a bro hug yet, man. It's gonna happen one day, though.
Yeah, and
I'm
I was
saving all my
say, like, have you got? And I know COVID has totally, messed things
ruined
up
everything
completely.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any sort of set plans yet, or are you kind of just waiting to see how
nothing's
COVID
set?
thing?
We've talked about a couple of things. My wife and I discussed about maybe going out to Cleveland to go to the Baltimore-Cleveland game and see if we could all meet up there. Yeah.
We've talked horror cons too.
Yeah, we've talked that also.
I gotta believe that'll probably end up being it. Probably.
Probably.
It just makes sense. It'll happen. I would say honestly, Brian, possibly this winter sometime.
Probably,
if it's not that game, just depending on what happens with me with other things that I have going on in my life right now that I can't talk about. But I will. We'll have to figure that out. But we've never met. It's fucking nuts. We've never met.
Wild. Right. That is wild.
But
I thought you were joking.
It's a testament to the power of the internet, man. Because this goofy guy has legitimately become one of my best friends on the planet. I mean, we hang out, at least on camera at least once a week. Yeah. We talk on the phone almost every day. I mean, so it's one of those things. It's like, wow, one of these days this is gonna happen. Yeah, wow. we'll fucking make it happen.
And that's it's crazy because when you guys, I've listened. I would say I probably listened to. You said 136 episodes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
something like that. I have to be at like 120. I would say, if not more, because I've gone back and listened to them. And you just you couldn't tell that you guys have never met.
No,
because
that's awesome.
Because even talking, on the phone every day and doing some video calls and stuff like that, it's not the same as actually getting together, having some wings, some beer, all that kind of stuff. And you would never know it. And I think that's what's always attracted me so much to your podcast, because it literally is like if me and Kyle were sitting next to each other talking movies as well.
Right.
And we can, and I can relate to that, so much. And that's why, I encourage, everybody who's into horror movies, who's into podcasting and movie reviews and things like that to definitely check these two awesome guys out, because it's just a good time. You're listening, I'm always listening through my speakers, but sometimes I'm literally if I really know and love the movie, I'm talking back at you guys too.
That's so fun, man. That's so good. That's awesome, because that's exactly what we're going for.
That's exactly what we're shooting for.
Awesome. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So question for you guys. Would you say the style of your podcast came together naturally? Because listening again, just this last week, two episodes. When Joe told me, I'm a big, when it comes to podcasts, I like sports, I like comedy, I love horror movies. But when Joe was like, "There's a horror movie podcast I listened to, you should get into it," I'm like,
for sure.
And then when I listened to it, I honestly, I thought it was just going to be two nerds saying "Oh, I like this scene, I like this scene," but you guys break the movie down in a way like Joe said, like you're just talking to a buddy.
Yeah,
and that's what makes it fun. Was that the plan, or is it just that's what happened?
Yeah, that was the plan. Thankfully, yes. I just because I came up with the idea of the podcast out of a sense of just needing to talk about horror, because my closest friends are all musicians, because I spent 20 years doing live music, singing in rock and metal bands.
Wow.
And very few of them like horror at all. It's just a luck of the draw. Is how it's been, because I definitely know that there's definitely horror fans in Kansas City for sure. But by luck of the draw, all these bands that I had been in, nobody really liked horror movies. So I was like, fuck. I see a dope ass horror movie I want to talk about it. Hey man, did you go see this? No. In the conversation. Cool talk, bud. So out of just sheer wanting to talk horror, I was like, God, I need to find somebody. And then when I met Andy, I was like, God, he's a lot of fucking fun, man. And and we had a blast playing F-13 together, and he's hilarious. I was just like, man, this would be the perfect person to start a podcast with. So I asked him, and then I hired somebody else.
Yeah, he did. He didn't go with me at first.
I didn't go with him at first. We didn't even get past the, hey man, would you be interested in doing that phase? And he said yes. I met a friend of the family, who was a huge horror fan, and I was like, oh, okay, well, he's here. Let's try this out. But the dynamic wasn't there. It just wasn't working. We recorded like 3 episodes together, and it just wasn't clicking at all. So I let him know that it wasn't going to work, and then I contacted Andy. And then literally
he came crawling back on his hands.
I came crawling back,
gribbling and shriveling, and
I was pathetic.
Yeah, groveling. Yes,
you don't want to say what you had to do to make him take you back.
I tell you. But
the guy tells me, "Hey Andy, want to do a horror movie podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds good, bro. All right, cool, man. I'll let you know." 3 months later, I see he's dropping episodes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was like that, kind of. Yeah, it was fucking like that.
Yeah.
But
Kyle wasn't my first choice for doing this content either, so I could. No,
I tell you, man,
we can relate.
But to kind of piggyback on what Brian said to answer Kyle's question, I mean that what you hear right now, I want to say that was kind of the plan. Well, at least the dynamic of 2 friends just talking about a movie. Right. We really didn't hit our stride. Really, Brian, the first time that we I think we finally figured out. Because you guys got to remember, in the beginning, we were doing episodes on Mondays and Fridays. So they were a little shorter episodes. They were like 40 minutes, an hour. Now, once we went to 1 episode a week, all the episodes are at least 90 minutes. They're usually 90 minutes to 2 hours long.
Yeah.
But we go through the movie step by step. But the first episode where we actually did that, and it actually just organically played out that way, was episode 35 of From Dusk Till Dawn, which is an awesome vampire film.
Amazing.
And I love that movie.
So
and
it's a few episodes. But.
Yeah, but like not the first 34 episodes, they're still fun. They're just a little bit more condensed and I guess a little less polished, but that's with any podcast that you start. The first so many episodes, you're still trying to dial in audio. You're doing this, you're doing that. Sometimes you just got to do things to dial it in perfectly how you want it and just keep doing it.
Our first couple are embarrassing.
Oh, no, I tell everybody that wants to check out our podcast to listen to the newest episode.
Yeah, and I tell I tell people to ask me like, where should I start? There's 136 episodes. Really, you don't really have to go in order because it's not like they're really connected. Yeah, that's what I tell my friends. Go through it. Cherry pick the movies that you love, that you're passionate about, that you'd like to hear 2 yo-yos talk about, and put it on. See if you like it. And that's kind of
real quick before the topic changes. I heard one of you say this, and I cannot agree more. Because From Dusk Till Dawn came up, Selma Hayek. One of you is a huge fan. I call
me. Yeah. Since I was like a teenager. Yes.
I'll play that. I'll play that song that she was dancing to in my car, and I'll start trying to mimic the same dance as she's doing while I'm driving.
Oh, I like this question.
We need video of this.
That's a good question. So I'm an 81 baby. Brian's a 77 baby. Yep. So Brian and I are huge fans of 80s horror. It's our favorite decade of horror. Yes. It's our favorite. So to answer your question, we talk about everything.
Yeah. Most of our episodes have been old movies. So
I mean, honestly, probably the most we've done is probably 80s, 80s and 90s and into the 2000s. We try to mix it up and we do a theme every month. Like this month was the late great Wes Craven, who was the writer director of Nightmare on Elm Street, which is right here. Oh, there it is. There it is. Right here. There he is. His birthday was on August 2nd. He passed on August 30th. So we dedicated the entire month to him. We called it Craven for Craven. And we talked a lot of all Wes Craven movies. And actually, next week's episode that's coming out is Last House on the Left. That's actually the oldest film that we have talked about. Ironic, I think House came out what, Brian? 72? 71? 71, 72? Yes. 71, 72, somewhere in there. but ironically, we brought this up in the episode. The oldest movie we had talked about to this point was episode 1 in Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 74.
74, right?
But, yeah. So, but yeah, we talk about all, man, we, if you like newer movies, we just did in April, we did Modern Tales of Horror. Or no, it was Modern Tales of Horror. And we talked about a lot of stuff from the last 10 years, but we try to mix it up. But yeah, we talk about everything, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And everybody that's just hopping in the chat, we see you. Thank you guys so much for hopping in here. So a big hello to all you guys. Again, we have Brian and Andy from the Dead in Santa Carla podcast. They cover pretty much all things horror related, but their specialty is doing awesome breakdowns of horror movies, letting you guys know exactly how they feel about them. And why you should, or maybe not even shouldn't
good,
watch,
bad, or indifferent
at your own risk, maybe for some of these.
Sure,
you know, because I know Andy. Dude, I'll tell you my favorite episodes of you guys are 2 movies that you really can't stand. Okay. So Jaws 3.
Okay.
Listening to that, I laughed so hard, and then of course, and Andy, you have to know where I'm going with next.
Jason Goes to Hell has to be.
Jason Goes to Hell.
I'm aligned. I'm aligned with you.
Yeah, I don't hate any movie in the planet. I really don't. I don't hate any movie on the planet except one. And it's Jason Goes to Hell. I hate that movie. Hate it. Because here's the thing. That is one thing, too, that I think you'll notice since we've done this podcast is in the beginning, we just weren't as refined yet. And, you know, we were probably definitely way too harsh in a lot of cases. Because at the end of the day, making movies isn't easy. It's not. Right. Nor is even Jason Goes to Hell. That was not easy to make. Bad movies are even hard to make. So I think trying to keep that in mind, we try to be conscientious of that nowadays because, you know, at the end of the day, no one signs up to do a bad movie. No one wants to direct a bad movie. No one wants to write a bad movie. Nobody wants to produce a bad movie. Nobody wants to give a bad performance in a bad movie. But it happens, sadly. And at the end of the day, you got to kind of, you know, check yourself a little bit. And we've gotten better at that for sure.
Some of these comments are cracking me up.
Yeah. So we have some non-Jason.
The fat bearded guy. My son wants to watch Jason Goes to Hell.
Right.
I like you, fat beard guy.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
one thing
question.
I heard in the episode I listened to today, and I couldn't agree more. I think it was Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Scream 5.
Yes.
Oh, that was atrocious.
Yes.
Oh, Scream 5 isn't out yet.
Or Scream 4. I'm sorry.
Scream 4. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was atrocious. You know, that actually.
See,
I'm sorry.
All right, I'll give my opinion after.
All right, go ahead, because I got one more question on top of that. But I want to hear your feedback on
for
that.
Me, I thought Scream 4 was an amazing rebound from Scream 3.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Scream 3, they were tugging at straws. You know.
Yeah, I mean they were both
that one. I thought.
Yeah,
I don't know. See, I actually think
you're a big fan of 4, Brian.
I am. I think Scream 4 is one scene away from being the best one, other than the first one.
Wow,
I truly do. I think that if they would have ended that movie before they went to the hospital and just let Sydney be dead, I think that movie would have. I think that movie
would have improved.
I think that's the best sequel. I do. I think it's better than part 2 if they would have ended it there. That's just my opinion.
Answer that question, I would say Vampires Die Am Legend. I would say Vampires.
I think they're vampires.
Yeah. And Jay, I know, and I'm going to highlight that again, Kyle. But Jay, Jaws 3 is the SeaWorld.
That movie's so bad, and it's not. It's probably a better movie than Part 4.
Yes.
But Part 4 is got such a higher rewatchability and entertainment factor because of how bad it is.
Yeah, Part 3 is not even in focus.
Yeah,
it's not even
it's blurry the whole time.
It's blurry. Sorry, I didn't mean to get you guys upset. I did not mean to.
I did. I love it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you,
and I just can't believe it because they have 2 top-notch actors in that movie.
Oh, in 3, yeah.
In 3, and they just
Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. First of all, that's my buddy Matt. And he knows I love scary movies. I'm like the jumpiest person on earth.
Yeah.
So when Joe sent me that intro he was going to use tonight, he sent it to me yesterday, and I'm watching it on my phone, and I'm just like, ugh, at the end. so ask Matt. My ass will leave the couch when we watch scary movies, but it's just too much fun. I love them.
Then we wouldn't have Scream. That's true, but I got a bold prediction for Scream 5. Sidney Prescott gonna die.
I think so too.
That's my bold prediction.
I agree. I think so too.
That bitch is dead. She just don't know it yet.
I wish they can resurrect Stu.
There's a lot of
more
people
Stu
wanting
in my
that.
life.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that want that.
My mom's gonna be so mad at me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm probably gonna like Scream 5. I'll probably like it. I'm easy. Like I said, I like most movies I like a lot of movies that people hate. You know, I have no shame. I watch Leprechaun twice a year. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Leprechaun in the Hood is my favorite.
It's entertaining as shit.
No shame in my game.
Oh man,
I got no shame in my game.
Joe, did we watch that together when we were like 9?
We did.
Ooh, I want to go upstairs
in my basement.
I agree with Diablo. We covered that movie last year, and I think we brought that up, Brian. At least because they were talking about developing that as a series originally. People Under the Stairs. Which would have made a very cool.
I didn't
series.
find that out until we did that Craven for Craven month. Yeah. You told me that.
That's
awesome.
So,
but I want a People Under the Stairs reboot as well.
I do too.
Oh yeah.
How excited are you guys for Candyman?
I've already got my tickets.
Me too. I'm going. Me and my
tomorrow.
wife are going with another couple on Saturday. We're so
excited. I'm going Saturday morning. Yeah,
right?
I'm going. Yep, it opens tonight actually.
Wow.
I'm going. I'm probably gonna. I haven't got my tickets yet, but I'm gonna go. I'll go Saturday. First thing Saturday.
Yeah, Charlie's a big Charlie's a big horror movie fan. He
said, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things, so hopefully it pulls through.
Certified fresh, baby. Not that means anything, but that's, that's awesome.
I avoid all. I haven't read anything because I want to avoid any spoilers whatsoever. But
I saw the score. That's it.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
So real quick, let me ask you guys this. This was my Scream question. Then I said I'll get your guys' feedback first. So let's put aside the fact that making movies is a job and people work to make money. Mm-hmm. Do you ever watch a good scary movie and you know it's going to be a series, but you're like, I know they're going to ruin it. Just leave it at 1. Because when I saw Scream when I was like 8 or 9, I loved it so much. As a kid, I knew where it was going. I was like, just leave it at 1. And I know they won't. But like, I was too young, obviously. But even like Jaws was the most basic horror movie ever. And it's arguably my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
You know?
Great movie.
I considered it a top 10 film of all time. Not even just horror. I mean, overall.
All time, right?
That's yes.
So do you guys ever get that way? Like you watch a movie and you're like, don't make a second one, please. Because some people don't. They want a second one. But I'm that guy that's like, leave it at 1, please.
Yes and no. I think to me is I follow like I'm very like knowledgeable with like writers, directors, producers and stuff like that. Like not knowing them personally, but knowing of their work and if they're talented or how talented they are or aren't in some cases. So I guess to me, when I start looking at a movie that's getting redeveloped, whether it's a remake, a sequel, I always go to look who's developing it. And if it's like people like modern horror, like if it's Jordan Peele's involved or Mike Flanagan, who is a very talented director, James Wan's another one who's a modern horror director that I love. If I see those names attached, then, I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I trust these guys, and I'm usually pretty stoked for it. Remakes don't bother me. It's just I wish these things would get a little bit more clever. Like I love what Halloween 2018 did by just you don't have to make a sequel to how many there's like 4 or 5 different Halloween movie timelines.
Yeah, exactly.
They got smart and they made a new one. They created a new one, but that was a smart move by making it just a direct sequel to the original OG from 1978. That was smart. You're ignoring everything from Halloween 2 on. Nothing against Halloween 2. I enjoy it and I like part 4, but that was a smart way to do it. And I think bringing back a lot of horror remakes, sequels, reboots, whatever you want to call them, all the above. I think what they should start doing and taking notes from Halloween 2018 is find a way to give us our original characters that we loved from the original franchise. Bring them back. Same actors, all that. Same characters. those characters that we love, and then give us new characters that we can love and get behind as well, and mesh the best of both worlds. And that's what Halloween 2018 did for me, and that's just one example. So I usually don't get too pissy about they're remaking that again. Until I see who's involved,
right,
then I'll go for it. Or what the plot is, I didn't know what to really expect from Halloween 2018. Look badass, and then I'm. It's not like I'm in the majority. I think most horror fans like it, but there's some that didn't. But I think that's the formula that a lot of productions should use moving forward.
Really good points there. Bald and Beautiful was laughing, says, now you got me confused.
Well, yeah, I think they're talking about the how many times you have to say Candyman. You have to say Candyman 5 times to summon him. You only have to say
5
Beetlejuice
times.
3
Yes.
times.
Yeah. No, a lot of good points. You actually bring up a good point, I guess. I don't want to say debate because everything's subjective, and that's the beauty of movies.
Yeah.
But Joe and I talk about this. Joe liked, and I want to let him tell his piece, but Joe liked the 2018 Halloween. Yeah. I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not. So
I know a few people that didn't care for it. Yeah.
What's that?
I know a few people that didn't care for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Sure.
I get too caught up in classic. It's my favorite horror movie of all time.
Yeah.
And I love the original story, but in a way, I got to get over it. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to mix it up a little bit, but the fact that they made Michael a little different, showed him in a few different, atmospheres, if you will. I was just like, man, you're ruining a classic, even though it was a good, entertaining movie. So I don't know. You bring up a lot of good points with it.
Yeah.
See, I'm partial to Halloween as well because that's my favorite movie of all time, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like the 2018 version felt more like that than any of the sequels at all because
really
they did they took all the things to me anyway that made Michael and they brought it back. There was the stalking element, you know what I mean? And that was a big part of it. And now they did some stuff that I didn't care for. I don't think anybody liked the whole Dr. Sartain angle at all. I don't think hardly anybody liked that.
No. And I think that was good. like if you took that out, probably the 90% of the people who don't like it would probably change their mind.
You're right. I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the 2018.
Yeah, I did too, and I feel like I'm with Brian. I'm with you too, Joe. Here's the thing. Here's what I say. It's my favorite Halloween sequel of all time. And Halloween Resurrection, I will pop that on in October and laugh my ass off. Yeah. It's a terrible movie, but again, I like bad horror movies too, man. I don't discriminate against bad horror movies unless it's Jason Goes to Hell. Screw that movie.
Here we go.
But you know what though? Here's the thing though. So I have like over like I know you were talking about my beard collection. Well, my Blu-ray collection is just as big. I have like 500 Blu-rays.
Nice.
Majority of them are horror movies, and luckily I'm married to an awesome wife who loves horror movies just as much as I do. So every time Hot October and beyond arrives, we're pulling out all the horror movies and stuff. And I have like the entire collection of Halloween. I have the entire collection box sets of Friday the 13th, and every year I have to watch them in order, and that still includes even if I don't want to, I still have to watch like Jason Goes to Hell and and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and all that stuff.
Hey, that movie's gorgeous to look at.
It's beautiful.
Halloween 2 is shot beautiful.
And Michael Myers has the best beard in the horror game. And
yeah, the Halloweens they're in a different category.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to do this. I've been waiting all day.
Yeah.
In my opinion, as far as horror movies I enjoyed, the scariest, just like that made me go like, The Strangers. You guys with me on that? That was a freaky movie.
That movie's scary. Yeah, that movie's scary.
That was a freak. I love that movie.
No.
There's a truly realistic element to it.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Because with Michael and Jason, there's that supernatural feel to them. You knew with these three creepy people, hanging around the outside of a secluded house, like that's what they were, just people as far as we knew. And obviously like the sequel of The Strangers kind of like twisted that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was just that realistic aspect of it that I think is very underappreciated for that movie.
It's one of the scariest movies of the last 20 years. There's no doubt.
It really
it's in the conversation for it's up there for sure.
I really like that sequel though. I'm not gonna lie. I really
say it again. I'm sorry.
We're in the minority. He and I actually kind of dig the Stranger sequel.
I liked it. I just thought that they kind of twisted. And by the way, the way it looked and the 80s vibe and the soundtrack to it, unbelievable.
Awesome, for Pray at Night, you're talking about Pray at Night now?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I love about that movie is it's very much an homage to your 80s slashers. And like the director, his favorite director of all time is John Carpenter. And you can fucking tell when you watch that movie. Everything from his wides to his score has got a very Halloween simple feel to it. I actually love Pray at Night. Yeah. And we also know Damien Maffei is probably a little bit.
We had him on the pod. The gentleman Damien Maffei who plays the bagman in Strangers Pray at Night.
He came on for an interview and hung out with it. He's a super cool dude too.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That was a blast.
Speaking of awesome wife, that's my wife right there, Stephanie.
Hi, wife.
Hi, Stephanie. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, she's a big fan. She listens whenever she's in the car with me. She listens to and
appreciate that
and loves all your content and stuff. No, Strangers Pray at Night was really fun. It really was. I think it definitely gets shit on for just really shitty reasons. Honestly,
yeah. Well, I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I like it.
People have that mindset I have. Which is not always a good thing. Like I'm sitting here straight up comparing it to the first one, and you can't do that.
You really can't.
Not even the same. Yeah.
You gotta let sometimes, even if they are sequels or reboots. Yeah. You gotta approach if it's standing on its own. Now, if they're doing so much, I'm kind of when it comes to remakes and reboots, I hate when they copy what the original one did too much.
Yeah. Good
right. From dialogue to shots to all types of technical things of filmmaking that they'll do, and it's like, oh my gosh, all right, guys, we get it. This is a remake of whatever, like a reboot of a franchise. I get it, but let's just you don't have to put it on that thick. Make it your own a little bit. Pay homage to the original, but at the same time making your own. That's usually when you get the best success.
See, just hearing you guys talk makes me like the Halloween 2018 more because I liked it. It was entertaining. It was fun.
Fuck yeah, it is.
I'm comparing it to nowhere and you can't do that.
I think it's the best Halloween sequel ever made. I do. And I like Halloween 2. I like Halloween 4, but it's nowhere near on the level of quality of film as Halloween 2018. No way. Yeah. And I will say this, and it's funny because Carpenter just co-wrote Halloween 2, and then he didn't write, direct any of them after that. Halloween 3 he produced and wrote, but we're not counting that. Michael Myers ones. But he just was executive producer of this one. He didn't write or direct. And this one felt more like that's what Brian and I said, and we talked about Halloween 2018 early on in our podcast, like episode 4 or 5,
something like that. Yeah.
And I said it then, and I'll say it again. It was the first it was the Halloween movie that felt. Not only did it feel like an OG Halloween movie, it felt like a John Carpenter Halloween movie. It's kind of it had that feel to it with none of the other sequels, and he even wrote 2, and this felt more like a Carpenter Halloween movie than even part 2.
Yeah. I'm really interested for Halloween Kills because
hi, Amy.
I watched your you put up a quick YouTube video of you guys watching the trailer. Your instant reaction, and I'm very interested in the route that they go and how this is going to bridge 2018 to eventually Halloween Ends. I'm really curious on how they do it. Looks like they're going to go for like just the straight up kills, and then I'm really interested to see how they kind of tone it down for the third and final piece of it.
Yeah. Can't get her soon enough. I can tell you that. At least we got Candyman this weekend to hold us off a little bit, but
yeah.
I'm ready.
That actually is a cool movie. I love Keanu Reeves, man. Is there a cooler, nicer motherfucker in the world than Keanu Reeves? I don't think so.
Yeah. Johnny Utah.
I've never seen Knock Knock. I'm embarrassed.
I've seen Knock Knock once. I've seen it once.
was fun. It was a
I
fun
remember
little.
enjoying it. Yeah, I remember enjoying it.
It was fun. I like everything though, except Jason Goes to Hell.
I think we've read that about you. I think.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
The rumors are true, boys.
So, dude, I was cracking up. So when I was listening to you guys cover Shocker on how there was that aspect of how like Shocker did everything that Jason Goes to Hell like wanted to do but failed miserably.
Yeah.
of the body jumping,
Yeah. It's a superior version of Jason Goes to Hell for sure.
It kind of is. Shocker is a very interesting film from 1989.
So fucking fun. Such a fun movie, dude.
Let's just put it this way: if you like bonkers movies that have really good cheese in them, I always say this all the time. Like I like cheesy, kind of campy things sometimes, as long as it's good cheese, because there's good cheese and there's bad cheese.
Right.
But Shocker is the good cheese. It's intentionally campy. It's intentionally cheesy, and it's a very kind of a bizarre film. A little bit. There's a lot going on in Shocker that you really wouldn't expect going in. But yeah, we finally got to talk about that one. Brian and I both really enjoy that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too for what it was. And that was one of the movies that I knew I've seen before, but I was so young that I didn't remember anything of it. So before I listened, I just went ahead and went on Amazon. I'm like, I got it. I'm just gonna buy it for the hell of it and add to the collection. And man, I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Shocker's a blast, man. I have the Shout Factory Collector's Edition Blu-ray, and that's got all sorts of good featers on it too.
Yeah.
I agree, Matt. The Faculty is underrated.
I was just going to highlight that.
We just talked about that. When did we talk about that? In June.
You talked about that the episode I just listened to.
In June. Yeah, we talked about that in June. Yep. That's a good movie. We love
it.
Because
that was part of Pride Month. That was part of Pride Month.
Yep. Kevin Williamson with Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
I like that's one of the best things about doing this podcast with Brian is it's fun to revisit these movies that I haven't seen in a long time. Even though I have watched a lot of these, I do watch regularly, but there are some every now and then that we get to that I don't really watch very frequently anymore. And it's fun to revisit and then kind of watch it with an adult lens or just an older lens a little bit.
Right.
And then go fucking talk about it with my boy. Yeah, man.
Craven for Craven month. I think I had to revisit 3 of them after 20 years.
Yeah.
Because it'd been that long.
Serpent.
I hadn't seen Last House or Serpent in every bit of 20 years.
Yeah. So that's a good segue to my next question is, when you guys are watching a movie in preparation for your next episode, so when you're watching the movie, how soon are you then recording that episode? And what's your preparation like as far as like notes and things like that for the actual episode itself?
Yeah, I mean, we each have our own process. You want to go first, Andy?
Yeah, I like to watch the movie throughout. We usually we try to record our movies a week before they drop. And we knock them out and kind of stay ahead of schedule that way. And I like to watch the movie at least once, usually twice throughout the week. Wow. And then I also like to go back on either Blu-ray or DVD commentaries that I have or special features, behind the scenes stuff that I can either find on those or YouTube. I try to research that stuff. And I try to that's how I'll find my fun facts and stuff like that. And I'm not a big notes person. I take notes in my brain, if that makes any sense. Because at the end of the day, what Brian and I do, the dynamic, we want to keep it very organic and not very scripted.
Yes.
I guess is the best way to describe that. Now, does that mean we're unprepared? No, absolutely not. We're very prepared. But we kind of just do it in a more looser, organic way.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, my process is relatively similar. I watch the movie the day of recording. And I try to watch it as close to before we're getting ready to record, so it's as fresh as I can possibly get. Because I work nights throughout the week, typically, unless I'm a laid off bastard like I am right now. But yeah, I watch the movie the day of. I don't take typically hardly any notes unless something really, really piques my interest that I want to write down to make sure we discuss it. But then when we go live, I just pull up the Wikipedia, the IMDb, and stuff about it. So in that the Wikipedia and those just they help me keep my place when we're going through the movie and shit like that. But yeah,
Brian's more of the storyteller, and I'm more of the
Right.
interjector. Interrupt Brian, and I interrupt him.
That's what he does for a living.
Yes, as you can just see, I just did it just now. That's the best.
I didn't even bat an eye.
Yeah. When you interrupt, though, like what I love about your dynamic is, the way that Brian breaks down a movie and literally from start to finish is absolutely awesome. But when you do interrupt, you're throwing in those awesome like fun facts if it's about like a specific scene and like how and what it was like for them to shoot that stuff. Like I really think like your episode for Jaws is your best. It is your best episode.
I gotta listen
because the fun facts and the that you had and just the overall background information you had on that movie implemented with the storytelling that you guys did of the actual movie itself was just really good. And stuff like that. So and again, I mean, that's where you guys just really, just hit it really good. But
have we ever seen Maximum Overdrive? Yeah, we have, and we love that movie. My God, is it good?
So bad, but it's fucking awesome.
No, is it awesome? Yes. Was Stephen King on cocaine the entire shoot of that movie? Yes.
You've heard it here, you guys. Stephen King.
And yes, I agree. Killer Clowns is the good cheese. That's another movie you and I love that we've already talked about. We talked about that. Yep.
I never saw it, but I remember like always seeing it at Blockbuster when I was a kid and laughing. Like, what the hell is that?
Oh, it's fantastic.
As a community, guys, we need to do this. All right, this is something that we have to do as a community. We all need to get on Twitter, and we need to make Killer Clowns 2 happen. Because they want to do it. We've got to make it happen. Hashtag Killer Clowns
honestly
2, whatever you got.
If you ask me the question, what's one 80s horror movie that never got a sequel that deserves a sequel or a soft reboot, I would Killer Clowns would be at the top of my list.
Yeah,
Killer Clowns needs a fucking sequel, guys. That movie
as long as they didn't go, because those are some like obviously crazy, looking clowns. As long as they didn't go too crazy with like any sort of CGI, I'd be all for it.
I just think they bring back the same guys, the Chiodo brothers, those guys that did that.
Yes.
Just get them to just get them to come back. They could use literally the exact same effects, everything, because the practical effects in that are bonkers and fun, and they're supposed to be. And, I mean, yes, Event Horizon is brutal.
We just talked that in February.
February.
I think you and I consider that one of the most underrated movies you and I have talked about.
That's probably my favorite outer space movie.
It never gets talked about. Like behind Alien and Aliens, it's probably the best outer space horror movie.
Yeah. It probably is. And yes, for all you Star Wars lover, I will take Event Horizon over Star Wars. So all you guys, bring it on. Bring it on. I love it.
I've never seen Event Horizon.
Oh, Event Horizon's awesome. It's the same. The studio butchered it because there was a lot of exposition cut. Yeah, we talk about it in the episode. There was a lot of exposition cut, and it kind of made the movie a little convoluted. But man, it's a badass movie. Event Horizon's radical. So rad. I've never seen Funny People.
Funny People with the Judd Apatow film?
Yeah, that I've seen.
With Adam Sandler.
I've never seen the horror one though. That Casey's talking about.
What was his name?
I think he's referring to the Adam Sandler.
What was his name? George Zimmer, right? Well, no, what was his name in the movie?
George Simmons.
George Simmons.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
When he's like mad at the world and he's on the microphone, he's like, "Fuck George Simmons, he has a medium-sized penis," like in front of the whole crowd.
It's kind of funny. It is kind of funny. I wouldn't worry about that dad run, because if the the Killer Clowns sequel, reboot, whatever you want to call it, it's never going to happen unless the Cachito brothers are involved. And if the Cachito brothers are involved, it's going to be heavy practical effects. I can promise you that. Yeah. I mean, that's really their main deal.
Surfing correctly.
Yeah. But like, there might be some CGI they throw in there, but like a lot of the stuff is going to be practical effects for sure.
Yeah. So obviously when you have a podcast and you're working with a partner, it seems like, I mean, again, it seems like you guys are so aligned with everything. What are some of the difficulties though that you guys have when working with a partner?
I'm gonna tell you what Andy's gonna say is dealing with me, because Andy is super. Andy's very organized.
Yes.
He likes to be prepared for everything. He likes everything scheduled ahead of time and things like that, which are all great qualities.
Oh yeah.
I am not like that. I genuinely, I lived the rock and roll lifestyle for way too long. Okay. Like I was a touring musician for 20 years. And, obviously I've never, had and didn't sign a big old huge contract or anything like that. But I toured for 20 years, and wow. I'm very much that last minute, hey, let's get this shit going, and I'll wake up 10 minutes before and throw some shit in my hair. I'm just not that kind of guy, but I'm trying to be, Andy. I'm trying.
Yeah, no, you're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great. You're doing great. No, what Brian said, I mean, no, there really isn't. No, it's pretty smooth. Brian and I, that's the best thing. Brian and I are, like he said, we're one of each other's best friends, and everything's pretty smooth. We're on the same page. Brian works a lot. Brian's got a family, and I'm just a single fucking, no kids, 40-year-old. So fuck it. I'll do all the organizing and all that stuff. And it goes smooth. It's easy. I do a lot of the writing of the themes, I guess. I'll come up with a lot of themes, run it by Brian, see what he thinks. And then I'll come up with like 6 movies for that theme. Say, Brian, pick 4 out of these or something like that. Let's do this. What do you think of this? And he trusts me to do that. Cause at the end of the day, when I show him stuff, he's like, yeah, that's fucking banging. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And, so there's, like creative wise, we never run into any issues.
Not really.
Not at all.
He also Andy's super good with the social media too, and thank God he is, because I'm barely just now figuring Twitter out.
And sometimes I bet you wish you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Twitter is
damn
brutal.
right. Yeah.
Twitter
By the way,
brutal.
Santa Carla Bryan on Twitter, if you guys want to throw me a follow. I'm only 6 away from 500, folks.
Nice.
Fucking this guy does. He telling me he don't know how to use the tweeter. You know how to use that tweeter, good
man,
boy.
Dude, Brian, I see you tweet on wrestling and stuff, man.
Yeah,
you know what you're doing on there.
Yeah.
And John, thank you so much for that
Yes,
$4.99 super chat. Really, really appreciate that. Peanut butter money for me. There's a inside joke within our community. I hate peanut butter.
It's a staple. At this
Really?
point. It's a beer talk
like
staple.
I despise it. Like it's
really.
I hate peanut butter more than Andy hates Friday. Jason goes to hell. Yeah,
I love peanut butter.
God, that's delicious stuff, man.
We've been on the hunt to try to find someone else who's not allergic like Joe, but just doesn't like it. We can't find another human being.
Yeah, that's weird.
We're still looking.
My son doesn't like peanut butter. You're not alone, Joe. My
Okay.
son sitting in
There
the
you
other
go.
room playing fucking Sea of Thieves.
Well, some people, if you're allergic to peanuts, man, that shit'll kill you.
Oh, that's
so,
all right.
Here's the
That's
thing,
right.
though. Like, I've never officially confirmed that I am. Like, I had one incident where I took a bite of a cookie that I didn't know was peanut M&Ms, and because if I knew, I wouldn't have eaten it. Because I've had peanut butter as a kid, and I was disgusted by it. And I know that there are some people that can develop allergies as they get older.
Sure.
And I took a bite of this this cookie that a coworker of mine made, and I spit it out because first of all I hated the taste of it, but over throughout the day my throat started to get all kind of clogged up and swollen. I took some Benadryl and it made things better. So I've never officially confirmed that I am, but
Right.
even if I wasn't, I wouldn't eat it anyways. I think it's disgusting.
Really?
It's good on
man.
everything. There's
Peanut
nothing
butter's
it's not good on.
delicious.
Yeah.
My favorite candy is peanut butter and chocolate, whatever it is. Reese's, Fifth Avenue
it's
Bar,
delicious.
all of it.
So Kyle, you say peanut butter is good on anything. I'm gonna hit you with something that literally everybody in your chat is gonna think I'm a nasty bastard, and that's fine. I'm
gonna guess I've
man.
tried it, but go ahead.
Okay, Cold meatloaf and peanut butter sandwich.
Wait.
Oh, dude, that's totally normal in my book.
See, that's fucking delicious too.
Meatloaf and peanut butter?
Yeah, I know. I said the same thing. A buddy of mine told me, he's like, his favorite snack is a cold meatloaf and peanut butter sandwich. And I looked at him like he was the nastiest bastard on the planet. But one time I ended up moving in with this guy. We ended up becoming roommates, and he had meatloaf. And the next day he plopped a fucking cold slice of meatloaf on a piece of bread, put peanut butter on it, and started eating it. And I was like, you know what, dude? I can't tell you that you're a nasty bastard without proving it. So I tried it. Thus, he conformed me to
that's wild.
Cold meatloaf and peanut butter sandwich, and it's fucking delicious.
My grandmother used to make me peanut butter, mayonnaise, and banana sandwiches. You put a little bit of mayo on the one bread, and then peanut butter on the other bread, and then bananas between it. It actually is quite delicious.
Oh my goodness, that's
this was posted.
That's
the same time you said it.
Look at
exact same.
What?
Perfect.
What the fuck? My grandma used to make. Wow, that's fucking wild.
You guys are probably identical twins, separated at birth. That's most likely.
That's so
and
funny.
And look what he just put. Are we twins?
Oh my god!
I know.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's so funny.
Right. It's like you guys are finishing each other's.
That's so funny, Blue. That's fucking random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So. Casey was talking about funny games, not funny people.
Funny games.
Funny games.
Okay. Yes.
I've never even heard of it.
I haven't seen funny games.
It has Michael. So yeah, he's right. There's funny games. There's I think a version. The original version was made in England, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then they did it in America. That has Michael Pitt. He's like the most well-known probably actor in it. Oh, and Tim Roth.
Tim Roth is in
Tim
it.
Roth? I love Tim Roth.
Yeah.
So do I. Great actor.
That one came out in 2007, you said?
I think so.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Okay.
I've never seen it. I know what movie it is, though, but I actually have never seen that one.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
It's good. I actually just watched that with my wife the other day.
Right on.
I have to check it out for sure.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's getting late early, but I want to bring this one up. One of my all-time favorite horror movies. I think it's from like the 70s. I'm not sure. The original, When a Stranger Calls.
Oh, yeah. It's a great
movie.
78, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
79, 79. Yeah.
Came out like around Rocky.
Yeah.
That's like the oldest movie that freaks me out. Like, movies that old typically don't get you. So.
That's a classic. No,
it is a classic for sure.
Carol Kane's phenomenal in it. I even used to watch the sequel, When a Stranger Calls Back, but the OG that's one of the best horror thrillers out of the 70s. It's a really really fun film. Well, one we have not covered yet. See,
we have not.
No. See, Brian cracks me up. And do you guys realize when we started doing this? He was worried about like doing too many good movies out of the gates. He was like, "Bro, we're never gonna run out of movies to talk about ever."
I didn't want to cover every heavy hitter right out the gate.
You didn't.
When there's a lot of heavy hitters,
right? I see both points.
Yeah, both points are valid. But it's funny, like it's endless. We learned very quick. It's endless. Like When a Stranger Calls, great film. Still haven't talked about it. It's on the list. And you know
Phantasm. Somebody just mentioned Phantasm. We haven't talked about that yet either.
The original Evil Dead, we have not talked about. We've talked about Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, but we have not talked about the OG Evil Dead yet. Nope. It just goes. We'll never run out of movies to talk about.
I tell you what, I definitely want to hear you guys talk about the, I guess the reboot of Evil Dead. I guess you want to call it a reboot, or because it's not really like a remake, because they definitely and stuff. But dude, because some people call it a remake. If you're gonna call it one, I think it's literally one of the best ones ever made.
I call that a soft sequel. I think that's a soft sequel because it takes place in the same universe as the original trilogy. So that's not a remake. A remake is a whole new thing of the same story.
Yeah.
This is that Evil Dead is not that at all, actually. Haunted Connecticut. That's actually a pretty good movie.
That movie puckered up my butthole.
Yeah, we have not covered that one.
That tightened the old balloon knot.
Put up my butthole, I tell you.
That was a
Yeah,
warrant.
Bruce Campbell is the man, dude. I love Maniac.
Bruce Campbell is the man.
I love the Evil Dead show. The Evil Dead show is
that's so
Ash
good.
versus Evil Dead. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that haunting in Connecticut, that case actually, the Warrens from the Conjuring franchise worked on that case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That could have been a fucking Conjuring movie.
Still could be.
Still could be.
Yeah.
What am I thinking of? Let's talk about a newer horror movie. Top 3-ish on my list. I'm embarrassed.
Conjuring, Sinister.
Yeah.
That's one of the scariest movies I've seen in the past 10 years, probably, or whatever.
That's just a great film overall.
It's every box. To me, first time viewing, I don't know if a movie's ever scared me as much on a first time viewing as Sinister.
Shit out of me.
Yeah,
that movie.
No,
science proved that's the scariest film ever made.
Yeah, they dropped an article last year, but
which one?
Science.
Yeah.
Sinister. They did some type of scientific study. Someone wrote an article about very cool article. They did a scientific study that showed that Sinister was the scariest movie of all time.
Oh, I believe it. And there's always a cheesy line at the end, and it's usually good cheese. But I don't even consider the line at the end cheese. It was so good. It was so appropriate. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, Daddy. I'll make you famous again. I was just like,
it's great, man.
Because it was right after the twist. And I'm horrible with twists. I never get them right.
Yeah.
I was the guy at the end of Bruce Willis, I See Dead People.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. I was the guy at the end of Sixth Sense being like, no way. And everyone else was like, dude.
Hey, I didn't see it coming either.
Oh, I didn't see it coming. I think those people are lying. I think
nobody saw that coming. That's why that movie was so popular, because it surprised so many people. That's why we talked about that last November. Actually.
See how gullible I am? They had me fooled. Like they didn't get it either. Where they're like, let's just tell them.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones.
I like the Descent.
What about the Descent? Yeah. The Descent is not talked about enough. That's a
good
movie.
One of the best. That could easily be thrown in the top 10 horror films since the year 2000. Easy. Yeah. You could get it in there. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah. Very scary and very scary too. Because some horror movies, let's face it, they're not very scary, but Sinister and The Descent.
Those are Sixth Sense that he was still going to work.
You think you have it bad? You ain't lying, man.
That's funny.
What is this one? What is this?
13 Ghosts. I actually very much. I very much. It is. I very much. That's one we have not talked about yet. Add it to the list of ones we'll talk about it someday.
Good point by Ron. The sequel to Sinister was solid, but it didn't have the same umph overall. But it was good. It was
I feel the same. I was there's a drop off, and that's kind of to be expected, I guess.
Right.
I think he was Sinister 2 was kind of, I wanted it to really work because that Bagul that could be a really popular horror character if you do the movies right, because he's scary as shit and he's cool. His backstory's cool. It's got good mythology and all that shit. Yeah. And that they didn't really expand on that though with the sequel. And to me, that's how you make a really great horror sequel. You build on the awesome mythology that was put in place and you add to it. Kind of like the hat I'm wearing, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. That's why this movie's fucking awesome. That's why this is a kick-ass horror sequel, is because that's exactly what they do. They expand on the awesome mythology that Wes Craven built, add to it, and it's fun. That's what Sinister's 2 problem was. They didn't really build on shit enough.
Do you guys ever get caught up, and I'm guilty of this, and I know a lot of horror people are, but get guilty of, if it's PG-13, most likely it's not going to be good?
I do. I think that goes
because I will say Sixth Sense
kind of proves
Sixth Sense shatters that. I will say,
I agree. Yeah. No. And The Conjuring definitely shatters that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think all 3 of those are all PG-13.
They are.
Are they? I thought they were.
Yeah, the Conjuring movies are PG-13.
Sure are.
Yeah.
But the Annabelles are, aren't they?
They might be.
Annabelle Comes Home is definitely PG-13.
Is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Annabelle Comes Home is absolutely PG-13.
I agree, Amy. Host was awesome.
Oh, Host was totally awesome. Yeah.
That was we went to record
my heart when I think about Host.
It does. It breaks my heart too. We've never had a problem. We've been lucky, knock on wood. In 136 episodes, we've never been late, and we've never had like audio problems like where we couldn't record, except once. It was for a bonus episode for host. It wasn't a normal episode. We were like, fuck, let's watch it. It just dropped. And we're like, fuck, this is awesome. Let's talk about it. We're just gonna hop on and do like a 40-minute bonus episode. And shit it didn't.
Audio got super corrupt. Yeah.
Don't know what happened.
It wasn't meant to be.
Broke my fucking heart, man. God.
I was gonna ask, like, how
got some pretty eyes, Amy. Look at you. Look at those eyes, gentlemen.
Yeah. Just stare right through you. Yeah.
It says in the chat, Amy leaves chat.
Right.
Oh, she's with me, boys. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. How is like the editing and uploading process when it comes to like podcasting? Because I know like for us, it gets like it's fun, and I do the majority of it. It's fun, but man, like uploading and waiting and all that stuff, man, it's like I hate it. How is it for you guys?
I handle all of ours except for Andy knocked out an episode for me recently. He did the
Serpent in the
Rainbow one for me because he had some free time, and I worked Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City recently. It was just this last weekend, and I worked at Amy Leaves Chat. But so yeah, it's not super bad. I've been pushing myself to do more intense edits. So, and I used to just write down and kind of make notes of things that I thought we needed to clean up, and then I would just go to those spots and do that. But now what I do is I go through the entire episode and I cut out dead space. I cut out excessive ums and excessive times that we stutter around what the fuck we're trying to say, because for some reason all of my audios consist of talking, and I can't fucking do that. So, but yeah, it's not super bad. But I also, when it comes to the uploading thing, I've got super fast internet. I got fiber optic internet where I'm at, and
nice.
So when it comes to that, like that's never an issue. I just upload. Yeah, they like even my even our YouTube episodes where they have video, they're up. They're boom. It's just up pretty quick. So
yeah, Brian kind of handles the production side. I handle kind of more of the writing creative side, I guess. Is that fair, Brian?
Yeah.
Now I could do it, but because
you do it for your other podcast.
Yeah, I do it for my other show. But I think part of Brian like enjoys doing it. I feel.
Yeah.
It's basically I don't want to do everything, so he's got to do something.
Yeah, I gotta do something. Yeah, I mean, shit.
Yeah,
Joe knows the feeling.
All I do is bring a shitty opinion every Monday.
No, so
there's that guy again.
It's a good dynamic because if basically what I'm meant by that is it feels that we're both pulling our weight.
Yeah,
if it feels like we're both working for the pod and doing. And honestly, I hate using that word because we say it all the time. Our podcast does not feel like work at all.
Not really.
Right.
Now, do I put in probably 6 hours worth of week in prep for it? Sure, but it doesn't feel like work.
Nah,
right.
For me to go on a show and talk horror movies with my friend, that's not work. That's not
right. I hear you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm excited about
and
this.
your preparation is like chilling and watching movies.
Yeah. I mean, I've been sitting over there getting blazed watching a horror movie. That's not work.
So have you guys heard of this new movie called Black Phone coming out?
Yes, Scott Derrickson is. Yeah,
yes,
his name's and Scott Derrickson is his name, the director, writer of Sinister. He's going to, he also did Doctor Strange. He directed that as well. He directed Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is actually an underrated flick. He's a fucking good movie. It is. He's pretty talented, Scott Derrickson. So yeah, and the fact that he's bringing back Ethan Hawke in this movie, and I think there's other cast members from Sinister in that too. What's that? The guy who played the nice like deputy in Sinister.
Yeah.
What's that actor's? Fuck, he's semi-famous.
James Ransom.
Is that it? I can never remember that. Yeah, I can never remember that.
He played in It Chapter 2.
Yeah, he did. I want to say.
Thank you so much, man, for hopping in here.
I want to say he's in it too.
Nice.
Yeah,
I never even heard of that one coming out. That's exciting. I'm a huge Ethan Hawke fan. I
yeah,
yes.
He very seldom plays in mediocre movies. For the most part, he picks good roles.
Training Day.
Training Day is fantastic.
He's in that. And the name is slipping from me. And as soon as you guys say it, I'm gonna hit myself in the head. But that vampire movie that was maybe like
Daybreakers.
Daybreakers. Yeah. Dude, I love that movie.
He was also in the remake of Assault on Precinct 13, which is actually not bad.
Yes,
it's actually pretty good.
That was good. That was fun.
Yeah. So Donald's got a good question. Are you just involved in horror movies, or do you enjoy the horror / scary stuff in towns, cities? Example, like the Gates of Hell in New Jersey, which I'm
like a haunted house,
which I'm assuming is like probably some kind of haunted attraction.
Well, when I used to live in LA, I used to go to Halloween Horror Nights every year. So to answer that question, yeah, there's nothing really super awesome around me in the Vegas area, at least that I've found. If someone wants to point me in the direction, let me know. Preferably at a
That's crazy to me. You would think Vegas would have
I'm sure they have something. Well, they do have the Saw escape room, which is super cool.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But like big horror events, not really. If they do, I haven't heard about them, and they're not promoting them for shit. Someone point me in the direction, please. But yeah, no, I used to go to HHN in Hollywood every year when I lived in LA.
Yeah, in Kansas City, we have 3 very, very good haunted houses that open every season. It's called the Catacombs is one, and there's the Edge of Hell, and then there's the Beast. And I try to go to at least a couple of those every year. But then I also do like horror conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
you and I like horror con. Like we're into horror cons. So that shit's fun.
Yeah, because I just recently did Crypticon in Kansas City,
which is a good con.
Yeah, it's a really good convention. Yeah, CJ Graham was there. Part 6, Jason. It was a good time, man.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Casey, Hush was on, and I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but Hush was very good.
Hush is great. Directed, that's a Flanagan film.
Yeah, that's Mikey Flags.
Yeah, that's
Flags,
Mikey Flags, as we like to call him. Mike Flanagan. He's one of the best modern horror directors there are. He's the developer and creator of Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. Doctor Sleep, which Brian and I fucking love.
That's a great movie.
Oculus is another film of his that's pretty decent. He's done a lot of cool shit. But yeah, Hush is I love Hush. He did the other Stephen King adaptation that was a Netflix original movie, Gerald's Game. Which we covered as well. He does some good shit. Yeah, that's a good fun. I read the novel that long time ago, and holy smokes, really good movie.
Okay, so Dan Ron, he said he lived in Vegas for 15 years and he was never impressed with that.
Yeah, I was never. I'm not. I don't hear like I know they have some, but it's nothing. It's no awesome full on production like you would think it would be in Vegas. It's not, sadly. But Vegas needs some more horror stuff. I will say though, the Saw escape room is pretty dope. That's pretty.
Nice. I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Something I'd like to do. Yeah, they got some escape rooms in Kansas City that I need to check out. I haven't done that yet. I need to though.
Nice. Yeah. So before we start winding down, because I know it's getting to that time, I do want to flip the script a little bit because I know that you guys are some sports fans as well. Obviously, Andy, I want to hear some Browns talk from you for a little bit.
Sure,
but Brian, I have to ask. You are residing in Kansas City, but you are a Ravens fan. Explain that.
Okay. I didn't always like football growing up. I've always been into baseball. Huge into baseball. I've been a Royals fan since I was sperm. Okay. So as long as I was floating around in daddy's nutsack, I've been a Royals fan. All right.
Good times.
But I didn't really get into football until significantly later in life. 18-ish, 19 is when I kind of started paying attention. And the Chiefs sucked then. And so I was like, well, what the fuck? I would share with these losers, But I also never really had a big attachment to Kansas City because I was a military brat.
Okay.
So I moved around a lot. Like I lived in Germany for 4 years. I lived in St. Louis for like 8 years. So honestly, I lived in St. Louis the majority of my life. At that point anyway.
Yeah, your adolescence. Yes.
Yeah.
Your youth.
So when I started really getting into football, I was just kind of like, let's just pick the newest team. And at that point, the Browns were relocating to Baltimore. And I was just like, all right, that Baltimore team is the team that I'm going to cheer for. Boom, pick those guys. And I was like, well, I'm going to deal with some shitty years for a while. And then boom, we won the Super Bowl 4 years later. so it hasn't exactly been the worst experience, but that's why I'm a Ravens fan. So I just kind of picked the new team when I started. It was about the time I really started getting into football. So I just picked the newest team.
They're a fun team to cheer for.
And thank you for your service in the military.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, Andy. So let's hear it. What's your realistic prediction for our Cleveland Brownies?
Well, for those who don't know, so Andy, you are originally from Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, I am.
You are a Browns fan.
Diehard Cleveland sports fan all around. Yes.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. Just from said Northeast Ohio earlier. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I outside of Santa Carla, Dead in Santa Carla, the horror movie podcast I do with Brian, other content creation and digital media projects that I do is I have a podcast called Not the Same Old Browns Podcast. And I actually took that over to the Orange and Brown Report, better known as the OBR, which is the world's largest independently owned Browns publication. Took that over and I helped them launch a Twitch channel, and we launched about a month ago, and it's blowing up. I way ahead of schedule. It's doing great, and awesome. I'm a huge Browns fan, big time.
So, can I ask whereabouts are you from in Northeast or Cleveland?
I grew up in Ashtabula, which is 60 miles down I-90 from Cleveland.
Okay,
east.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Very cool.
Yep.
Nice.
Very cool.
It's gonna be between our boys for the North, right, Andy?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
You believe that, right, guys?
Yeah.
Because if any Steelers fans out there, first of all, I don't know what you're doing with your lives, but you can't possibly be so jaded just to think that the Steelers are really, really gonna be very good this year, right?
It's just they're one of those teams though. It's like every time we think that though, they still find a way to pull something out of their.
They got a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Ben is 843 years old, and he's going to be 844 by the time the season begins. Okay,
yeah.
So
it's going to come down to the Browns and the Ravens in the North. There's no doubt. Yeah. I mean, without being a biased homer that I am, I mean, on paper, they got to go out and do it. But I mean, it's a top 3 roster in the NFL. I don't know how anyone can look at the roster on both sides of the football and not see it. It's there.
I'm not a Raven. Obviously I'm not a Browns fan, but I do agree. I agree. The Browns are stacked this year. They actually really are. I don't care what anybody wants to say. That offense is super scary, and so people want to say that the defense is going to be weak, but I'm sorry. I look at that defense and I think they're going to be they're going to be very good. I really do.
They're going to be good, and they finally, one thing that the Browns had searched for a long time. They had searched for they'll still be in the mix. You can't count out the Steelers. I agree with that, Charlie. The Steelers, they still have a top 5 defense. They have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. They just drafted Najee Harris. Should help, and Ben is Ben, but I don't know. We'll see. If Ben can stay healthy, the Steelers will be in the mix for a while. I don't think they're going to win the division. I think it's going to come down to the Browns or Ravens, but they could be in the mix for a wild card. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. See, this is so false. This is so false to me because people assume that OBJ is the same guy in Cleveland as he was in New York, and he's not.
No, he's not.
And that's the thing is Mayfield is smart enough, and Stefanski,
and Tomlin.
Thank God we finally have a guy like Stefanski will not allow that to happen. He will not.
You ain't supposed to be drinking the beer oil.
I like that, dude. That was funny. That was funny. No, it's exciting for me because I've been a Browns fan since the mid late 80s, so it's exciting times, and the fact that I'm getting paid to cover them on Twitch is fucking weird. Like I don't know, it's some kind of weird Twilight Zone moment for me, but I'm here for it. It's exciting. I mean, it's a few bucks, but hey, man, it's great. So it's most anticipated season since probably 1988.
Oh yeah, that's what scares me, to be honest.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, I think that was more of a coincidence than anything, Charlie. You got to remember, this was last year. Was the first half of last season was Baker's first year in Kevin Stefanski's system. They had no off season and no preseason because of COVID. I think you're going to see you could end up ultimately being right, but I think you're going to see that that's not going to be the case. Now this is going into year 2 in this system. OBJ is going to be in the system again for a second year, even though he was hurt for half of last year. Little more than half.
More of
he
a
was
legit
out week
defense
7.
helps.
But Baker is the key here. Not because it's to me it was never on OBJ. It was definitely on Baker. There were times where he was forcing him the football. There's no doubt about that. But also, I don't think Baker had fully gotten down the system yet, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. We'll see. We shall see. But I can't say with there's just no way in my mind that this offense is not better without OBJ. I mean, of course they're better with him. Right. I think we'll see how it plays out, but I think you're going to see a very disciplined football team, and I think you're going to see a team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes because they're just so well coached. And I think you're going to see Baker for the first time in his career is in year 4. It's the first time he's got playing the same system 2 years in a row. He's had his first 3 years in the league. He had 4 different freaking head coaches and offensive coordinators, man. 4.
Typical Brown style.
That's
right. So
that's rough for any quarterback, especially a young one. That'd be rough for a veteran.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, and I get why some Browns fans feel that way, and why some NFL fans feel that way of what Charlie is saying, because he's not wrong. The Browns offense took off after OBJ got hurt, but I think that was just more coincidence than anything. I think you're going to see that pretty early on this season.
Yeah.
And the Browns, even with all those weapons at wide receiver and tight end, Browns will still be a run first team. When you have Chubb and you have Kareem Hunt and even Johnson, our third string running back.
He looks all right.
Who's always looked good.
He could start for probably 5 teams out there.
He'd probably start for the Steelers.
Dearness Johnson. I mean, that's the thing is there's no reason for Baker to have to force it to anybody. Because when you have a running back trio like that, you just don't need to.
And again, I think if you don't follow the team closely as a fan or media or whatever, and you're really not paying attention, I think one thing that that gets lost in the shuffle, I don't think people realize how good of a head coach Kevin Stefanski is. I don't think the world quite realizes it yet. But they're
they don't understand that Andrew Berry is a GM of the year. The guy is.
What is this guy doing, dude?
We dealt with Ray Farmer, and now look what we're blessed with.
Andrew Berry made me reevaluate my entire life because a year ago I realized this dude is 5 years younger than me.
He is. He's young.
Yeah. So not only do I appreciate him for being very influential and turning around the Cleveland Browns, I also appreciate him for making me realize that I need to reevaluate my situation. Yeah. But Andrew Berry is the freaking man. There's no doubt.
And Coach Stefanski is strikingly handsome. We got to give credit.
He is. That's all, dude. That's salt and pepper beard.
That's
Come on.
30% of the job, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
I've been looking good on the sideline, man.
Right.
I agree, Charlie. Chubb is a beast, man. Yeah. Trying to tackle that.
He's the best back in the league, in my opinion. Now, running backs, they're only as good as long as they can stay healthy, and it doesn't happen for very long. So
fucking hate Nick Chubb.
He's so good.
He's so good. I can't stand him.
We haven't seen a combination.
Gorgeous in purple, man. I tell you.
He would.
Hey, dude, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
He's going to be a problem. I think he's.
It was so funny when my boys drafted him because I got this hate text from Andy.
Yeah, I was pissed
because he was pissed because he's from Ohio State, of course. Yeah. He was like, "Why do you guys always draft my guys?"
Andy, did you see though that they traded
Sean Wade?
Sean Wade.
I did
to the Patriots.
Yep. Gotta believe the Browns were in on. We're trying, but not easy to strike a deal with your division rival.
Probably not.
Right. Hey, it makes me still wonder if they're possibly in on Gilmore, if Patriots are going to let him go. But we'll see. But
Absolutely,
Kyle,
Charlie.
man, yeah. Kyle, what do you say? You think it's about that time?
Yeah. It's getting late early. Let's go ahead and wrap it up, gentlemen. This was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for being here.
This was a blast. Thank you guys so much for having us.
We do have your link tree in our description, but why don't you guys let everybody know where they can find you? And if you guys have anything coming up or anything else about you guys that you want the peeps to know, now's the time, and we'll wrap it up.
Well, you can find us on Twitter at Dead NSC Podcast. You can find us if you listen to podcasts. Yeah, we're on all major podcast platforms, every one of them. Just look for Dead in Santa Carla. Yeah. New episodes drop every Monday. And coming up, we're getting ready to kick off sequel September 2, The Resurrection.
Yes.
And we're talking about nothing but part 2s from franchises. So we got Friday
awesome.
2.
I'm so excited.
We got Poltergeist 2. We got
some fun guests too. For the Friday the 3rd. So last September we did sequel September, and so it was a lot of fun doing that. We just talked about nothing but horror sequels, and this year it's sequel September 2, The Resurrection, and we're
nice.
That title is the best.
It is. That's amazing.
So like Brian said, but we're going to be talking about Friday 2 is one that we're going to be watching and covering, and we're actually going to be joined by a cool guest for that. We're going to be joined by filmmaker and Friday the 13th fan film extraordinaire Vincent DeSante of Womp Stomp Films. He did Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow. Helped develop, produce, co-write Jason Rising, the fan film that just dropped on the 13th of this month.
Wow, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was badass. He's going to come on. We're going to bullshit with him about his Friday the 13th fan film life for the first 20, 30 minutes, and then we're going to do our normal episode as we go through Friday the 13th part 2.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It'll be fun. Yeah, sequel September 2 is going to be a blast.
Yeah, but you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and just about every Amazon Music, every major podcast platform.
Coming soon to Pandora.
Yeah, there you go.
I submitted that a couple days ago.
There you go.
Honestly, I didn't know Pandora was still.
I didn't know they were still around. Yeah,
and we also. We do upload our episodes on YouTube too. We used to do video, like you guys are seeing in the chat right now, but we just weren't getting enough traction for all the work the video editing took. So we still upload the episodes to YouTube, but it's just a thumbnail with the audio. But you can find them on YouTube as well.
But we do still put content out like that.
We do,
because Andy and I are both going to see Candyman. We're probably going to do a quick spoiler-free review.
Nice.
So, and that'll be on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna have to since I'm seeing that Saturday too. I'm definitely gonna slide into your Twitter DM and have to talk to you guys about it.
Definitely. Definitely.
I'll check it out this weekend too. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
All
well,
right,
guys, go ahead. Or I was just gonna say thank you so much for coming on, man. This was a blast.
Yes.
Come visit us again, please.
Definitely. This was a lot of fun, guys.
One of the better episodes. Is the
you
hour
got a great community, man. All you guys, you guys. All y'all out there, y'all are awesome. Yeah,
absolutely.
I can tell. Looking at chat, you guys are definitely the kind of people I would absolutely love to hang out with.
Yeah,
super awesome. Likewise, absolutely likewise. So, all right, you guys. Well, this is the end of tonight's episode. Again, all you guys in the chat, thank you so much for making this yet another amazing episode. We would not be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. And again, please, if you're into horror movies, please check out Andy and Brian over at the Dead in Santa Carla podcast. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and end it with that awesome intro again in case you guys missed it. And we're going to sign off right after that. So here we go. Peace out, fellas.
I'm your now, Nancy.